At 5:30 a.m. on October 3, 2021, a concerned neighbor called 911 after a house fire had engulfed a home at the 2400 block of 15th Avenue Court in Greeley, Weld County, Colorado.
No, there's a house on fire.
Okay.
I think there's someone in there.
Okay, what's your phone number in case we get disconnected?
I don't know, man. The house is fire. Somebody's in there, I think.
Okay, I have this in, and just to confirm, is that going to be a house or an apartment?
If the house is on fire, man,
Okay.
you need to get the firemen here.
They're coming as fast as they can, okay? What makes you think that someone's inside?
Because there's a dog barking and there's a car in this place. Man, you got to get to the fire truck.
Okay.
Before we begin, we would like to express our sincere condolences to the family and friends of the victim. By the time first responders arrived on the scene, the blaze was completely out of control and a danger to anyone who got close. That meant officers were helpless to rescue anyone who might have been inside.
What you got, bro? Yeah, I just don't know if you This is Officer Flores, Greeley Police. Anybody in there? Is anybody in there?
We don't know. The dog's we've been trying to get him up for.
Who lives there, sir?
His name is Chris. There's someone in there now.
Dispatch 492 to confirm we have fire on the way. House is fully engulfed and we don't know if everybody's out of the house.
The next-door neighbor feared the homeowner, 35-year-old Christopher Dickerson, was still inside when the fire started, and there appeared to be several clues to suggest he might have been right.
I think his car's still in the garage.
Yeah.
You got a fire escape here.
Yeah, bro. This is Officer Flores, Greeley Police. Anybody in there? Chris!
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, I tried running on the other side, on the fucking window on the other side, but I don't think anybody heard.
Yeah, we don't know if anybody's inside yet.
This is Officer Flores, Greeley Police. Anybody in there?
Ah, dude, there's no way, there's no entrance in. We can't get in there.
That's Chris's dog barking in the backyard, but more alarmingly, Chris's blue Hyundai Elantra was still parked in the driveway. If Chris was inside the residence, then there was no way officers could have helped him. All they could do was wait for the fire to be put out before they started the search of the building's remains.
No, we couldn't. Like, we got here, it was fully... I mean, we think there's somebody in there. I don't really know how to help these guys at all.
When the fire was extinguished, everyone's worst fears came true. They found a body amongst the wreckage of the house, later confirmed to be Chris's body, leaving his family in turmoil. But the news didn't get any better after the Weld County coroner performed an autopsy and discovered that Chris was already deceased when the fire started. The coroner came to those conclusions because of several inconsistencies, such as the pattern of the burn marks, the lack of smoke in the victim's lungs, and more importantly, the multiple stab wounds to the victim's neck. Investigators, led by Detective Jerry Burrows, also noticed signs of a struggle, and it looked like someone had rummaged through Chris's belongings as an old engagement ring was missing. Detective Burrows officially opened a murder investigation, and the race was on to find out who was responsible. Investigators discovered that a neighbor had surveillance cameras installed nearby, and they pointed straight at the driveway at Chris's property. That footage showed some highly suspicious activity that started when Chris returned home to 2413 15th Avenue Court at 2:16 a.m. on October the 3rd. He parked his Hyundai Elantra in his garage before heading into the residence, but he wasn't alone, as right behind him appeared a silver Chevy Malibu. The vehicle parked in front of the house and paused before it parked in the driveway. Two people got out of the vehicle and entered the residence. Then, at about 2:50 a.m., the Malibu drove back into the road in front of the house before Chris's Elantra backed out of the garage and into the driveway. All three people got into the Elantra as it pulled away, returning again at 3:07 a.m. The three occupants then entered the residence once again. They all stayed inside Chris's home for over 2 hours until 5:08 a.m., when a figure emerged from the house and entered the Chevy Malibu. Then nothing happened for the next 5 minutes until another person left the residence and also got in the Malibu before they drove off into the distance. But it was only a few minutes before the vehicle returned, and this time only one person left the vehicle and entered Chris's home. That was the moment the flames started. Through the window of Chris's home, it was possible to see the exact moment the fire was lit. The suspected arsonist then left the residence once again and calmly walked toward the Malibu as the flames started to engulf the house. When investigators saw that footage, they knew they needed to find the occupants of that Chevrolet Malibu. With the help of traffic surveillance cameras located in and around Greeley, they found the vehicle they were looking for, or at least one of them. The Malibu was registered to a Mr. Rodriguez, but as investigators tracked the vehicle's movements, they realized there was another vehicle involved. The Malibu drove to a nearby address where the two suspects parked and got into a different vehicle. This time, they were driving a Chevrolet Tahoe, and it was registered to 19-year-old Stacy Rodriguez, who just happened to be the sister of the Malibu's owner. Stacy Rodriguez resembled one of the suspects at Chris's house on the 3rd of October, and her girlfriend, 21-year-old Hosanna Varela, resembled the other suspect in question. Investigators bided their time, and it was 5 weeks before the couple were arrested. But when they were, Detective Burrows and a team investigating the murder had built such a strong case that the suspects would have some tough questions to answer. To keep the situation under control, the officers told Stacy and Hosanna their questions were merely procedure, as both suspects had been seen in the same bar as Chris on the night of October the 3rd.
Hosanna?
Yeah.
Hey, Detective Burrows. Can I chat with you real quick? Would you mind?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. Are you okay to talk to me? Is that okay?
I mean, I guess.
Okay. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. Is that okay?
What is it about?
Well, I just have a question about a case that I'm working.
Oh, okay.
So, is that okay if I talk to you? Are you okay with me talking with you?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Yes or no? You don't have to talk to me, but if you're okay with me talking to you, I just have a couple questions for you, and that's it.
No, I don't want to talk to you. I don't know.
You don't want to?
I don't know. Yes, I'm fine to talk to you.
Are you sure?
I guess,
okay,
yeah.
You don't have to.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Quick question. So, case I'm working, we're talking to everybody who was at a bar on a night, October 3rd,
Okay.
2013. It would have been a Sunday morning, Saturday night leading into Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Okay, were you ever at Cubetta's that night?
October 3rd?
Yeah.
It was on Saturday?
Saturday into Sunday morning.
I think so, yeah.
What's that?
I think I was at...
You were at Cubetta's? Okay. How long were you there for?
I don't remember. How
You
long
don't
I was
remember?
there. No.
Okay. Do you remember being at the bar?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
I usually go there kind of like a lot, so.
Okay, you go to that bar a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember talking to anybody while you're there?
I see my friends there all the time, but.
Who are your friends?
Just the people that usually are at the bars.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Who are you there with?
It could have been with, I have no idea, my sister or, yeah.
Who is that?
Stacy.
Okay. Were you there with Stacy?
Maybe. I could have
Okay.
been, yeah.
All right. Do you remember October 3rd at all?
Not really.
Okay. When you were there, did you ever see this guy?
No, he doesn't look familiar.
He doesn't look familiar?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You never saw him?
I
Never saw
don't
him at the
think so.
bar or anything? Okay. The case involves him. That's the case I'm investigating.
Oh, okay.
But you never saw him or anything?
He doesn't look familiar. No.
Okay.
But the Greeley Police Department had evidence to suggest Hosanna wasn't being as honest as she appeared.
Did you ever go after the bar? Where did you go?
Probably to my mom's.
Where does your mom live?
She lives on the west side. I don't know her exact address.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On the west side?
Yeah.
Like, where at?
Like over there by the Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, like 29th Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like in the, is it west of 29th of Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Where does she live? Like a
It's
house?
the T-Bone Ranch.
Like
in apartments.
Apartments?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they at T-Bone Ranch, or there's like apartments further down?
I think it's the T-Bone Ranch.
Okay, because the T-Bone Ranch is right across the street from Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's a little bit more down.
Is it like all the way down, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So your mom lives there. You went to her house afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't remember ever seeing this guy?
I don't know. He doesn't look familiar.
Okay. He doesn't look familiar to you at all? All
No.
right. Did you ever go to anybody's house that night?
No.
You never went to anybody's house?
No.
Okay. Never went to this guy's house?
No.
Okay. Would you have been too intoxicated to remember anything?
I was
or?
pretty drunk. I'm usually get like drunk like on the weekends.
How drunk were you?
I have no idea.
Like, would you have remembered if you went to somebody's house and you were hanging out with somebody?
Maybe.
Okay. Yes or no?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. You would have remembered so you would have remembered this guy.
He doesn't look familiar.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to tell me, or anything else you want to know?
No.
Okay. All right. Brett, are you good? Right here. All right. I'm gonna go chat with Stacy real quick. Okay. What car were you guys in that night?
I don't know what car I was in.
Do you guys ever drive a Chevy Malibu?
No, I don't think so.
You've never been in a Chevy Malibu? Okay. Does anybody you know own a Chevy Malibu?
No. My mom used to own a Chevy Malibu, but she don't have that.
Nobody
car
else owns a Chevy Malibu? Does Stacy own a Chevy Malibu?
I don't think so.
Does her family own a Chevy Malibu?
I don't have no idea.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
According to the surveillance footage, that vehicle should have been very familiar to Hosanna because they suspected she had been inside it. So the officer moved on to Stacy to see if she would tell a different version of the events. Conveniently, though, she was driving the Chevrolet Tahoe from the night of October the 3rd.
She doesn't believe she's ever been to the 2413 15 Avenue Court address. She doesn't know anybody who drives a silver Chevy Malibu.
No.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever driven a Chevy Malibu?
No.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Stacey, will you step out of the car for me? You can grab your phone if you want.
Yeah. Can I grab my phone? Just because it's wet and I don't want to get...
Yeah.
Neither Hosanna or Stacy could recall the events of October the 3rd, even though the Greeley Police Department had strong evidence to suggest they were the two mysterious individuals who set fire to Chris's home.
You don't have to have it. It's up to you. All right. Let's step over here. Okay, turn around. You're under arrest.
For what?
I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead and put your fingers together. There you go. Yeah. We're going to double.
It's 2 handcuffs on you, so it's a little bit easier for you, okay?
I'm going to go. Son, turn around for me. You're under arrest. Put your fingers together. Like, there you go. Interlace them. There you go. Do you have cuffs? Yeah. I don't have mine. Do you guys want to roll up? I need another set of cuffs. Oh, never mind.
I got another pair if you can.
I think we got two. You're under arrest for first-degree murder, arson, burglary, and tampering with a deceased body. Okay? All right, that's what you're being charged with. Stacy's being charged with that as well too. If you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you about it, and I can understand what happened that night. Okay? It's only if you want to. You don't have to. If you want to talk to me, I'll listen to your story. I'll always listen to people's story.
Yeah.
Okay? Is that something you'd like to do? Is talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can we talk like
We're gonna talk at the station.
Okay.
Okay. Away from everybody else.
Okay.
And away from Stacy.
Okay.
Is that something you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll hear your story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And I can see it in your face.
Okay.
All right.
It didn't take long for the officer to persuade Hosanna to talk, but cracking Stacy would be a different matter altogether.
Stacy, have you been informed of what you're arrested for?
No.
Okay. Being arrested for first-degree murder, arson, burglary, and tampering with a deceased body. Okay.
Is there proof of that?
Yes. Okay. If you want to talk to me, I'll hear your story
Okay.
and talk to you. Okay. It's up to you. You don't have to talk to me, but if you want to tell me your story, I'll listen to you. Okay. But I do have proof. It's not a coincidence I ended up here right now. Okay. So it's up to you. Would you like to speak to me about it? Like I said, you don't have to. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but if you want to tell me your story, you can.
Can I smoke or no?
We could probably arrange for you to smoke. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to talk to me if I let you smoke. But I can probably. Do you have the cigarettes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to grab them?
Where are they at?
They're right here. Do you see like the top of the top? So there's like the first one, on the roof.
Okay, stand right here. Yeah.
On the roof.
What do you mean the roof?
Like kind of like where the lights are.
Oh, can I go in there?
Yeah, but it's the first one.
This one?
Yeah, but it's weird. You gotta do you see that little clip?
Okay. You got a lighter?
A lighter on the keys, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You get it? Okay. Okay. I'll leave your keys there, alright? Stacey, I'll let you think about it, okay? Alright? Remember, it's your decision. Stacey, I'm going to head over to the station, and I'll meet you there, and you can think about it, okay? Okay. All right. Kel's going to stay here, and then we got another officer here, too.
Okay.
They're on their way.
What we'll be doing with the
It's towing. Okay. Getting towed. What's that? No, it's going with us. It's getting towed.
Neither Stacy nor Hosanna knew that the Greeley Police Department had done thorough homework before they even thought about making the arrest. Using cell phone records, they were able to track every single movement of Chris, Stacy, and Hosanna and used surveillance footage to piece the case together. On October the 2nd, Chris had sent a text message to a friend telling them that he was planning on going to a couple of bars that night. A short time later, he was driving along downtown Greeley on the hunt for somewhere to drink. He picked Cubetas, one of the most popular places in town, where he danced the night away and drank mostly by himself. In fact, Cubetas also happened to be one of the only places where underage Stacy was able to buy a drink. She was there that night with Hosanna. As the night progressed, Chris met up with his friend Dolores before events out of their control brought an end to the evening's fun. At around 1:30 a.m., a fight broke out inside the bar and everyone scrambled to avoid being involved, with several customers escaping out the back doors. With them was Chris, and this is where he met the people who would eventually murder him when he approached a Chevrolet Malibu in the parking lot of the club. As Chris walked past the vehicle, he stopped, turned around, and said something to the occupants before returning to his own vehicle nearby. The Malibu then followed Chris's Elantra all the way to his driveway. The evidence presented by the cell phone records and surveillance footage suggested that Hosanna and Stacy were responsible for the crime, had killed the victim, and then staged a robbery before setting fire to the crime scene. But this, of course, was only speculation by the investigators. They needed one of the two suspects to talk. Stacy was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree arson, tampering with a deceased body, and 2 counts of second-degree burglary, which means she could face a long time behind bars if found guilty. Hosanna was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree arson, tampering with a body, and being an accessory to a crime. But she had a plan to try and get a reduced sentence by confessing everything to the investigators. Once she was in the interview room, Hosanna claimed the relationship between her and Stacy had deteriorated in the months leading up to the murder. The two had met at work and would engage in an affair behind the back of Hosanna's partner, with whom she had 3 children. Hosanna eventually left her partner and moved in with Stacy, but over time Stacy became abusive towards her. She also claimed she had thought that Stacy might have been a part of a violent gang back when she lived in California.
On that day or the next day, and I was like, who were you talking to that you told them about the fire? And then she goes, nobody. She goes, I didn't tell anybody. And then I was like, but I heard you on the phone. And she goes, I didn't tell anybody, don't worry about it. And she like gave me a kiss and then just went on. And so she never brought it up again. And so I don't know who she could have told but throughout our relationship, she was associated with these people, I don't know, her gang that she was associated with. I never met them, and she was always fearful of them.
Was that a local thing, or because she's from California, right?
Yeah,
was it a California thing or a local thing?
She said that they were from California, and her brothers were involved with them. One of her brothers that he's in jail right now. And so I don't know if it could have been them that
was she close to her family?
She was not really.
Okay.
But I know she was real close with one of her brothers, and that's the one that is in jail. She was the closest with him.
Okay.
According to Hosanna, Stacy's violent nature would be unleashed on the night of October the 3rd, 2021. Chris was leaving Cubetas when Stacy called him over to her car. Chris invited the 2 women over to his place before driving home with his new friends in tow. Back at Chris's home, they started drinking vodka, and that was when Stacy started to ply Chris with alcohol while pretending herself and Hosanna were drinking the same amount. In reality, Stacy was watering down every drink except for Chris's. During the night's drinking games, an argument broke out between Chris and Stacy, and it escalated completely out of control when Stacy started throwing beer bottles.
Quick, now, is she on top of him, or where is she at?
I don't think she's on top.
Okay, so she's kind of standing, and then Chris is on the couch.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to get up. I don't know.
Okay.
And then she grabs the beer bottle and goes to hit him, but she misses, and I go, no, don't. I go, let's just leave it. You know what I mean? Let's go. And she looks at me, and she I think she grabs another beer bottle, has that same one in her hand, and then that's when she hits him on the head, and gets another one, and then hits him again, and there's blood and blood on his face and everywhere on him. And
okay.
Stacy ordered Hosanna to grab a nail file from the kitchen, which she would use as the weapon that ended Christopher Dickerson's life. Hosanna did not see the murder herself as she stayed in the kitchen, but she heard it happen, and when Stacy walked into the kitchen, she was covered in blood. She'd stabbed Chris several times in the neck and inflicted some devastating injuries from which he would not survive. But if Hosanna's version of events is to be believed, then what Stacy did might possibly turn your stomach. As Stacy studied the blood on her hands, she allegedly licked her fingers in delight and savored in the blood of her victim. Stacy then positioned Chris's body on the floor in an effort to stage a crime scene to make it look like a struggle had taken place. Whether these claims were true was another question, but Hosanna's testimony did match up to the forensic and other physical evidence. By the time the case went to trial in February of 2025 at the Weld County District Court, Stacy had come up with a defense of her own.
What happens when you move to the corner?
He gets in my face even closer.
He gets in your face even closer?
Yeah.
What is he looking like when he's in your face?
He's mad yelling.
How tall is he? Is he much taller than you?
Yeah, there's a big difference.
If he was standing above you, did you have to look up at him?
Yeah, I did.
So we're moving over to the corner. What happens when you're in the corner?
He like puts his arms like on the sides of me.
Okay. So he's putting his arms on the side of you.
Yes.
Is your back up against something?
Yeah, I was on the wall.
Okay, on the wall.
Yeah.
And the wall in the corner by the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Away from the cabinets.
Yeah.
And you said his hands are on the wall?
Yeah, but like on the sides of me.
On the sides of you?
Yeah.
Above your shoulders?
No, like right at them.
Okay. Is he touching you?
No.
You said he's yelling at you?
Yeah.
What is he saying?
So you call me a bitch? He keeps like repeating the same thing over.
Is he yelling at you?
Yeah.
You said that his face was close to you, but he was taller than you. So was he looking down on you?
So he's like right in front of my face, and when he turned to look at Hosanna when she had told him to get off me or get away from me, when he turned, I like just pushed him off me.
How hard did you push him?
Honestly, in that moment, I really don't know.
Okay. Where did he go?
He didn't go.
Well, I mean, you pushed him. What happened?
He went back.
Okay. Did he stumble over his feet?
Yeah, he stumbled over his feet, but he didn't fall to the ground.
Okay. Did he run into anything when you pushed him?
He kind of like grabbed the refrigerator.
Hosanna would maintain that it wasn't Chris who was on the offensive that night, and Stacy was the one in the wrong. She would also shed light on how the argument between Stacy and Chris started in the first place.
Had Mr. Dickerson ever been violent towards either you or the defendant?
No.
Okay. Had Mr. Dickerson ever sexually assaulted you or the defendant during any encounter of this?
He did slap my butt twice during, like when I would just stand up, he was just kind of like, it seemed like if he was just too happy, like really, just too over, just.
Okay. So to be clear, during this initial time, Mr. Dickerson did touch your butt.
Yeah.
And did you take that in a very overtly sexual way?
No. I mean, I was just kind of more scared of Stacy seeing because I didn't want her to.
Objection.
I had asked her, when did she know that she wanted to kill him? And she told me when we were in the car, picking up his friend.
And to be clear, in the sequence of events, Mr. Dickerson touching your butt was prior to that trip to go pick up Miss Vigil.
Yes.
Hosanna then told her version of events, including how Chris's life was brought to a brutal end at the hands of Stacy Rodriguez.
But I do remember Stacy was up against the wall and Christopher was just kind of like over her and just kind of like bearing over her. And I remember kind of like stepping in, like wanting to like get him off of her. And that's when she pushed him. She pushed him off of her. And I think he fell, he stumbled and got back up and he started yelling. And I remember him just saying to get out of my house. At one point she pushed him on the couch and grabbed a beer bottle and wanted to hit him with it. And I told her, no, like, let's just leave. We could just leave, And she just looked at me and threw the beer bottle. And then she grabbed another one and threw it again on his face. And at this point, she's on top of him, like with her like knees, like using her weight on top of him. And then she tells me, she goes, go get that thing. And so I went and I just grabbed it and I just gave it to her. And then she tells me, go to the other room in the kitchen. And so I went to the kitchen and that's when I started hearing her stab him. And that's when I realized what she was doing.
The defense team were quick to question the testimony of Hosanna and why she stayed with Stacy after she had committed murder. After all, would you want a killer sleeping next to you every night?
You say you're telling this jury under oath you saw her pull some Hannibal Lecter stuff, drinking blood, saying it's dirty after she just unprovokedly murdered. And you're just letting them her around your children, right?
The trial would gain a lot of attention from the press, with drama in the courtroom as well as behind the scenes. While waiting for trial, Hosanna had several handwritten notes delivered to her cell that threatened her and her 3 children if she spoke to the police. And then there was the behavior of Stacy herself, who didn't seem to take the case as seriously as you might have thought for someone who was facing a murder charge, as she smirked her way through the trial and sentencing. But Stacy told the courtroom that her behavior wasn't a lack of remorse and could be explained quite easily.
Tell me, when you get anxious, do you get quiet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you sometimes laugh?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Do you laugh maybe at times? Is it just kind of the response to the anxiety?
Yeah, it is.
Not necessarily that you're laughing at something funny?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have like a lot like social anxiety, but like I am like very like secure with like myself. Like I know, like I feel okay. Like I'm secure with myself.
When the jury returned from their deliberations, they found Stacy guilty of first-degree murder, first-degree arson, tampering with a deceased body, and 2 counts of second-degree burglary.
Jury verdict, count 1, murder in the first degree. We, the jury, find the defendant, Stacy Marie Rodriguez, guilty of murder in the first degree.
She won't be getting out of prison anytime soon, as on March the 12th of 2025, Stacy received her sentence.
Ms. Rodriguez, your actions were horrible. Your decisions were horrible, both in the commission of this act and the choices that you made after this act. It is a struggle for this court to understand how you can go from meeting a person to viciously stabbing them in the neck until they are dead in the course of a few hours. It's one of the most disturbing cases that I think has been before this court since I've had this job. As to count 1, murder in the first degree, the court will sentence you to serve the rest of your natural life in prison without the possibility of parole. With respect to count 2, first-degree arson, the court is going to sentence you to 32 years in the Department of Corrections. That sentence will run consecutively with count 1. With respect to count 3, tampering with a deceased human body, the court is going to sentence you to 12 years in the Department of Corrections. That count will run consecutively with the other counts. As to counts 4 and 5, the court on each count is going to sentence you to 12 years in the Department of Corrections. Counts 4 and 5 will run concurrently with each other, but consecutively with counts 1, 2, and 3. Ms. Devereaux, the state had mentioned indication of pre-sentence confinement of 1,257 days. Do you believe that is accurate?
For her testimony, Hosanna was given the 32-year sentence agreed to in her plea deal. None of that would be much comfort to the family and friends of Chris Dickerson, but they may feel some sense of justice knowing his killer would never see the free world again.